Black Mirror, Season 2, Episode 3, The Waldo Moment. Welcome back to another Floppyleggs YouTube video. I really appreciate you coming on through. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. This is, of course, like the 6th video we've done of every Black Mirror episode. Of course, we did Season 7 in the past, and we're going through every Black Mirror episode ever. Join us on the journey. Get watching them alongside as well, so your memories are fresh of each episode. Let's go into maybe not the best episode of all time, but let's talk about it. The Waldo Moment. Spoiler warning ahead. Starting off with the story, we follow Jamie, who is seemingly a failed comedian who's playing the character of Waldo on a very popular UK talk show, and he's a blue cartoon bear with a very, 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 very annoying voice. Like it's not funny. It's not funny in the slightest. Anyway, we'll get to that later. This blue bear takes the mick out of like well-known people, maybe politicians, and that's one of the people that he did take the mick out in this episode that springboarded the rest of the story, which was obviously the Tory MP, Liam Monroe. And obviously Liam Monroe doesn't really get along with him, but that's exactly what Waldo, as a satirical, mick-taking cartoon character would enjoy, because then he can run off on it and really take the mick even more, tenfold. This segment in the episode in this talk show is very popular, and the producers of the channel basically really want to get Waldo into different lights, push him out there more, and the reaction to the Monroe stuff was even better. So they want to take him out, and they eventually do, in like a van with a screen, and obviously he's in the back of the van controlling Waldo, and he's going over to where Liam Monroe is campaigning in his constituency, and he's mocking him outside and all this, that, and the other, and because of the reaction from the public and how much they still love him, and then in person they're still going around the screen and they love him even more, it develops where they say that Waldo and Jamie, well, not so much Jamie as we find out later down the line, but Waldo, this caricature, this character, they want him to run within this constituency for MP. So obviously it's an election season and they're all campaigning. We've got the Labour MP, we've got the Tory MP, and then the Lib Dems MP gets mocked a little bit. For those that aren't aware of UK politics, of course the main two are the left, Labour, the right being Tories, and then Lib Dems is kind of like more of a middle ground, and they kind of get mocked this episode quite a bit. But yeah, they add in Waldo, who's an independent. It's so silly. They add in Waldo, who's an independent party. And the episode basically sees him be springboarded into politics. Like, he goes into this little discussion time thing, question time. Liam Monroe finds out who he is. He's not just this blue bear. He finds out the comedian, calls him out. He takes it personal, and he basically is a very insecure person, because as soon as he gets attacked or feels vulnerable, he bites back, and he basically calls out a very interesting hypocrisy that basically, I'm a cartoon blue bear, but I'm more real than any of you politicians, which is a very big running theme within, politics. A lot of people look at politicians and they don't see anyone that relates to them or is anyone that they look up to and believe in. They seem like just fake characters, just as Waldo is. So overall, the story very much progresses, and there's like that flipping someone from the White House comes over and says how important Waldo could be, and it was a very good line that I really liked, that Waldo is someone that can attract the disenfranchised without causing issue with the people in the middle. So like basically he can be a person for the people that feel like they're lost within politics. They don't have anyone to vote for or look to. He can be that person for those people, but he also doesn't necessarily, because he isn't someone that's very political and not saying any strong views either way, he's just a caricature. I quite like that concept, and so like that's why obviously they think he could be springboarded to something even astronomically more than just this random constituency in the UK in a very Tory dominated area. And one of the big moments in the story is us realizing that the producer, the head of the channel, is very much adamant that Jamie, you're not even needed, mate. We don't even need you. If you don't want to come along on this journey with us, we don't need you, because Waldo is bigger than you. And that was a very horrible moment for him to realize that even though he's a failed comedian, he's gone down this path, and something that he did make is now being taken away from him. Like, it is now bigger than him. It makes it even more of a kick in the dirt to him, because he's the creator of it. He is Waldo, but Waldo is bigger than him. He's now outshone him. And of course we see it progress even further, where he realizes that him being such a big part of this election journey within this constituency, when he realizes by talking to the Labour MP that she would have, obviously they hook up and stuff, but he gets upset when she doesn't reply to him because she can't be involved with other people in different parties. So once he realizes that he jumped the gun and he was a bit insecure there, and he shouldn't have blurted out all of her information at the question time thing, because she would have spoke to him after the campaign. Once he finds out that, as well as the fact that him being there is taking votes away from the Labour Party, making that the Tory Party is going to win easy peasy lemon squeezy. When that sort of conversation came up, he says, I've had enough. So when he goes into the public one more time to rally and campaign and tell people about the new beret they can get on the app if they vote for him, it's just like such a stupid, like... I'll get to that in a second. He basically says, stop voting for me, don't vote for me, don't vote for me, don't vote for me. And he leaves the machine, like the van, to say it to the people to their face, like, I'm Waldo, don't do this. And then all it took was the producer to sit into the machine and say, don't listen to him, he's a schmuck, £500 for anyone who beats him up. And then they do it. Like, that just made me feel so bad for him in that moment, because A, his whole career was taken away from him in that moment, and then B, he was ordered to be beaten up by his creation, which is even worse. Then at the end of the episode, we see the results of the election in the area, and the Tory party wins, but the second highest voted person was Waldo. And in the moment, Waldo don't care, because he never wanted to be the MP of this constituency, but he then asks people to throw a shoe for £500, and people do it. They blindly follow this cartoon character, they blindly follow this thing. For what? For why? It's like, again, calling out how fickle society are, that we will follow anything, this herd mentality, like we'll follow this thing because it's become like a meme, or like it's something a joke, but they blindly follow it. And it makes you think like people would follow a clown if they really had to. Then it made me think that's silly, but then the story very much interconnects and relates to not to the extremity of it, but you know, we've seen particular politicians become presidents, for example, that maybe people would have said was a little bit of a caricature and a bit of a clown, and then they ended up there. Do you know what I mean? People will follow things just to, I don't know, there's a message being said here and there. People will follow anything, and then people will take advantage of those people for their own gain. Of course, the story then ends with Jamie a few years down the line, I imagine. I don't know if he's in a different country, but it looks like he's homeless now, and he goes to the screen, he's moving it with his hand, and Waldo's taken over everything. Military, propaganda, just everywhere. Waldo. And it links back to the point that White House member said, that Waldo can be the face for the people that feel disenfranchised, and can rally those people without really impacting other people, because he's not political. He's not left or right. So people can just blindly follow this thing, because he's basically just a character to be like, yeah, up to the establishment, but then he turns malicious because it isn't Jamie anymore. Moving over to the concept, I can see how I'm talking about this episode. I think the concept is silly. I'm going to just straight up say it. I think, first off, in a Black Mirror sense, if you just take this as a Black Mirror episode, it's made worse, because I think Black Mirror does things so much better, I feel like, than this. I just found it very, very slow. It propels a bit too... A very contradictory thing I'm about to say here. It's a slow episode in places, and then it propels way too quickly. I would have liked to have seen maybe more of the public responding to Waldo more than just in the street, like, laughing at him. Because he's not funny. It's like the most unfunny. But then, was he supposed to be unfunny? Was that like another message being said in the episode, part of the concept? This really unfunny caricature that people blindly laugh at. Is it, again, just herd mentality, just to fit in? Because he's been told to be the funny little cartoon guy. And the voice was so jarring. Oh. And I think this is where we get into the real problem of this episode. The characters. Oh my lord, they were rubbish. Like, genuinely, alright, the Labour MP, we're showing her for like 2 seconds at the beginning, and she's like, I'm only here to do this for my career development. Okay, cool. So, like, I guess they're not really supposed to be, like, the politicians aren't supposed to be, like, really fully fledged characters. They're just, like, plopped in, like, this is a politician that would happen. This is a Tory politician that's very typical, you know, being very big-headed and feels he's better than everyone, you know, had private school education, and I probably think he was probably the best character, the Monroe guy, because he was there to be disliked, and I did dislike him. But the Labour MP woman, like, she was nothing. Like, she was so nothing in this episode. But again, was that done on purpose because she's supposed to be very blasé, because she's only there to progress her career? Like, she isn't supposed to be very actively trying to campaign or anything like that. Jamie, look, he's an insecure little boy, if we're going to be honest. I can't describe to you how, like, annoying he was. I can give Jamie some, if it was just an episode more about Jamie, I would have been here for it. But the whole Waldo, like the whole crux of this episode, the concept is Waldo. This is just that stupid bloody bear. And unless, I think they were trying to make him annoying and not very funny. That was like a purposeful thing, because Black Mirror can be funny. It has been funny many a times. But it took me out of it. He's just annoying. It's bad. He is bad. And there's bits where the public are laughing at him, and he's like, it's not funny. Am I 10 years old, like laughing at this fart humor? Of course, the twist in this episode is what I mentioned at the end. Jamie is homeless because of the ramifications of what happens here. And Waldo is taken over the world. Basically, he's used in all these different realms. And it's one of the main things, as I've said, is because he transcends, right, this language barrier. He is a figurehead. He isn't a person. It's this bear that people don't like. He's not shy and hiding away from the fact that he's fake and that he's not authentic. You know, they're very obvious that they have a team behind him, which obviously politicians all try and portray themselves as individuals when really and truly they have all those teams. And this is where I just say it was silly. It's unrealistic. And I know that's very like naive, stupid to say, because like White Bear, like the punishment that she endures in that is unrealistic, of course. But the best Black Mirror episodes are the ones where you can just see it potentially being reality. And then even though I'm saying it's unrealistic, I've mentioned before in this video, like politicians and people like that kind of subvert from the norm, you know, that maybe go quite extreme on things, they don't notoriously do too bad, which we've seen recently. But then in the same breath, there's Captain Binface, you know, in the UK that always goes to be MP, and Nico Milana recently was trying to be Prime Minister or the Mayor, and they don't do too well. So I do think it's unrealistic. Like, as much as like they're trying to say that society are fickle and will follow these stupid clowns and this, that, and the other, like to the extreme of it actually being a clown, actually being this cartoon bear. It's trying to call out and point a finger at society, but I don't think it lands. I really don't. Like, as much as there's some realisticness to it about how like we can all follow like random weird people in their absolutely abnormal beliefs that are wrong and outrageous, and people still have a following because of that. I understand that side of things, but it just didn't land. It just didn't land. I do want to just say this very quickly as well. There's certain, like, the humor in it is crass and quite crude. And he's doing it like a public street with kids about, and that, like, I'm not here to be like, I'm not here to be doing that, but I'm just like, to add to the unrealism of it. Like, if that was done, Waldo wouldn't be like applauded around the streets. There would be people asking him to be taken down. Like, there would have been this backlash. There would have been this opposing side that wanted him gone. Do you know what I mean? But there wasn't. And that made me like, I know again, but it's unrealistic. And we're going to now go into what I ranked this episode out of 10. And I imagine a lot of you will agree with me in this. I did rank this episode a 4.5 out of 10. And I know that's, okay, so first of all, this is a notorious bad episode of Black Mirror. Like, I'm not, Floppyleggs is rated at 4.5. A lot of people do think it's a bad episode. I remember when I first watched it, I didn't really like it. And when I saw this one was next, I was very much, like, out of all of the episodes in Black Mirror, there's probably one or two later down the line that I remember not really liking. This was the first. And I think that for a series that has 3 episodes in season 1 and 4 episodes in season 2, having one episode that I don't like out of 7 is decent. I just think the concept is there, but it's too silly for the impact that it has. Do you know what I mean? It's too much. It's too much to fathom. Like, it's too extreme. I do just want to mention very quickly, of course, if you stayed to the end of this episode, little cheeky Easter eggs at the end when Jamie is in the future. I think he's in a different country. I can't remember. I don't know where he is. But anyway, in the top lights and stuff, we see billboards, and we see Abby from 15 Million Merits when she's an adult film star. There's an advert for her on the screen there. I think there's a Hot Shots logo on the other corner. Bearing in mind, this obviously came out in 2013 and season 1 was 2011. So they're referencing that world is connected to this world. And I think that's really interesting a little bit as well. But I wouldn't mind have seen that a little bit more delved into than just a subtle reference, because obviously in 15 Million Merits, there's these people riding the bikes. We don't know where they come from, like what's going on, what do they power? Then we see this very technologically advanced world. They clearly are powering that. And then is that like a development of WALDO? Do you know what I mean? Is that where that 15 Million Merits world comes from? Is that a development of WALDO? Who knows? I guess it adds this like, ooh, are the worlds connected? Which is kind of theorized throughout a lot of Black Mirror, which we'll go into. Whenever I notice something, I will bring it up in like an Easter egg section at the end. But yeah, here's my rankings. As of course, this is the very, very lowest episode I've done so far. I could have rated it like a 5 out of 10, but I feel like I can't give it 5 out of 10 because then it's too close to National Anthem. It needs to be very low down. 4.5. Let me know if you agree in the comments down below. I've been Floppyleggs. Thank you for coming through, and I'll see you when I see you.